Let me let out Barbara. Give me just 1 second, guys. I'm gonna hold on. He needs to get water, and I can't fuck with that. So just give me 1 second here. Hold on. Oops. Let me show this. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. We have to do that. He's on diuretics. He's on furosemide, something like that. And if he doesn't get it, it can fuck him up. So he has to make sure we have like constant supply of water. I didn't have one in here, so I had to let him go get water. Okay. So anyway, the point about Saudi Arabia is, yes, they do want to make money. That's not like a thing, but they're trying to make the kingdom look better. They're trying to give people there like alternative forms of entertainment. And more about it is sort of resetting their presence on the world stage so that they can get not just bigger sporting events like the World Cup, but other forms of B2B investment or, make it a place where they can host conferences and events, just make it part of a broader sense of the world economy, make it a tech sector. All of these things, the way you can soften its image through sports translates into other sectors of the economy, tech, you name it, making them easier for them to be your partners for, any kind of economic push that you might be making, right? So it's not about like, oh, if we don't make money on this soccer thing, like we're fucked. It's about to what extent can we get people to invite us and make us part of these other sectors of the world, or being involved in various other plays beyond oil by softening our image through sports. Dave just being a mensch. Thank you, my friend. Stoic says, how mad is that so many voted for Epstein's boy? They didn't give a shit. And that was another thing, too, that really blew my mind. It's like, can you imagine if you had Jeffrey Epstein on tape being like, yeah, Kamala Harris is my best friend, and I know all about my best friend, and I know about the inner workings of the Biden White House, how, like, plastered all over right-wing media that would have been. They didn't give a fuck. They didn't give a fuck. They don't care. Carnage says, Luke, who would win in a fight? Brian Egg Shen Campbell or Stephen King of Kung Fu Seagal? Brian might fuck him up at this point. Thanks for the content these crazy times. King of the Donks. Yeah, thank you, my friend. Morning Wombat. Given that Hamzat's blast double is so dominant early, is it worth trying to time him with an uppercut when he shoots? He shoots below the uppercut, or pretty low. Is it too dangerous to have Hamzat take you down when you're both dry? So the trade-off is, I wouldn't say an uppercut. I would say a knee. A knee might get him. But then if you miss on that, you're so screwed. Now you're fighting out of a really terrible position. So, like, they take the lesser of two evils, which is like, okay, I'm going to basically get this guy to press me against the cage, but I'm going to fight the takedown a little bit and give myself a bit of a fighting chance here, Aqua Buddha says, Luke, lots of negativity going around today. Let's counter by hearing your favorite combat sports memory or story. Man, I'll tell you one of them what you guys saw when I was talking with the guy who cuts my hair about this. The joy of watching Bud Crawford do what he did to Errol Spence. Not because I had anything against Errol Spence, quite the opposite. I still do have a high opinion of Errol Spence. But watching somebody, everyone talks about like, oh, this guy entered the Matrix at this time. And then you'll look at it and it'll be like a really good performance, but it wasn't like transcendent. For example, Ilya did really well against Max, but it wasn't transcendent. Pick another one. John Jones did really well against Gane, but that, it was quick. But it wasn't transcendent. But there's times where, like, what, for example, what Anderson Silva did against Forrest Griffin, that's transcendent, right? That's transcendent. Watching what Bud Crawford did to Errol Spence was fucking. I never understood those women who would go to like see Pavarotti. And I'm sure I'm saying it like an asshole, but like Pavarotti sing and they would be brought to tears. You know what I mean? Like, I never understood it. Like, how could art make you feel like that strong? And then I saw what Bud Crawford did, and I was like, oh, I get it. I get it. It takes your consciousness to a new place. Daniel says, Luke, you think if John focuses on wrestling and grappling like it seems, he could be lights out with takedowns and ground and pound? My theory is it fell off due to lack of prep in the past. I also wonder about that big toe. I don't know if that really hurts him or not. It's hard to say, but his wrestling kind of fell off as like wrestling and MMA got better. Now, Gon didn't put up much resistance, but Gon fought terribly in that fight, so it's a little harder to say. But I think he's going to strike it out first with Stipe. I do think there will be takedowns, but I think he's going to use that reach, poke him to the body, and then try and really get him from there. T-Ball Paul says, did Kamala make a mistake by declining Rogan? Yeah. But it's not just that. It's not that just they didn't... it should have been... Kamala should have gone on there. Waltz should have gone on there. Surrogates should have gone on there. Anybody, if you believe in your case and you believe in it strongly, go to where they are and make it to them. Make it to them. And they had the opposite posture. You know, they went to audiences who they thought were already... why are you going to audience? I mean, I know they did All the Smoke, so that's something because there's going to be a crossover audience there. But what's the podcast? Who's Your Daddy or whatever? It's a huge podcast, but these are people who are going to be largely receptive to that message for the most part anyway. You're just, I don't know what value that. I mean, there's value there, but clearly it was not enough. Sparcific says, Dana White and the UFC fighters talking at Trump rallies